I never killed anybody, but I got something to do with that body. I got the streets on my back, carry it like I'm moving the body.
All right, welcome back. That is Young Thug's Anybody, one of the songs containing lyrics that will be used against him as he faces charges of racketeering and gang conspiracy in a trial that started this week.
He's facing RICO charges in Fulton County, Georgia, one of 28 people charged in the case allegedly associated with a gang prosecutors say he founded. And joining us now with more is ABC News contributor and attorney Brian Buckmire and ABC News contributor and SiriusXM host Mike Muse. All right, so Young Thug has pleaded not guilty. He's denied all of these charges. Brian, what's he facing here?
If you're thinking about it from a jail time perspective, the top charges, that being the conspiracy to violate the RICO Act, which is basically saying 3 or more people conspiring to commit a crime, and at least one of those people takes steps towards the commission of that crime, as well as gang activity. Each one of those charges faces about 5 to 20 years, and you can stack those on top of each other. So for someone in their early 30s, that's all but a life sentence.
And Mike, Young Thug is a big deal in the world of rap. Could we see other high-profile artists take the stand in this case?
Yeah, you absolutely will see a lot of high-profile artists take the stand in this case, in particular thinking of Lil Wayne, but also too DeMarco and Evo. It's going to be about individuals outside the courtroom who won't be taking the stand, but will be taking a position on this stance on if hip-hop lyrics can be used in the courtroom or not. And we've already saw that happening with Kevin Liles doing their pre-trial arrangements, that he was very vocal, as well as Lear Cohen, another big music executive. So you're going to see music executive, music activists, and artists really voicing their opinions on this outside the courtroom, which would just as be as big as if they're inside the courtroom.
Brian, you know, Young Thug has waited a long time for this trial. We're already seeing crazy drama in the midst of it. What is going on here?
It's a lot. I mean, it took us 10 months just to get to the point of opening statements because of allegations of drugs being brought into the court. Attorneys were arrested for allegedly throwing cell phones as they were getting arrested for having pills in their bottle and assaulting officers. There's just so much drama that led to this point, but also it's just the nature of the case. You try to prosecute 28 people at once for RICO charges with 191 overt acts. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, thankfully we're down to 6 defendants in this trial and 9 taking a plea, but it's a lot to kind of wrap your head around and also a lot to get started.
And Mike, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis said publicly, and I want to quote her, "I think if you decide to admit your crimes over a beat, I'm going to use it." Rap is and has always been a creative way of art. How will this impact, you know, the game moving forward?
I would start where you ended, DeMarco, in the sense of rap is a form of art. My concern is when they admit too many lyrics into the courtroom and trying to prove that case. Admitting too many lyrics and too many songs could really bias a jury if they're not understanding of culture, the culture of rap, and the culture and communities from where these artists come from. Now, with that being said, if an artist says they committed a crime on a certain intersection of a street, and then that is in their lyrics, then that is fair play for that lyric to be used. But the idea of supporting in totality, inserting songs and other lyrics trying to support a case, that is what I take issue with, and a lot of activists take issues with too as well, because rap is also too a form of literature in a sense of allegories, alliterations, and metaphors.
But Mike, strong talk is nothing new. I mean, you and I have talked about it. Tupac's Hit 'Em Up. That's a strong song there. And when you look back, you're like, whoa, if it was in today's, time and place, it would have been used against him in court.
You see me smiling so big right now because, DeMarco, you nailed it. Even to the point now where in the very popular lexicon of culture, we use the phrase gang, gang. Gang, gang doesn't mean the actual gang unto itself, what we know formally as a gang, but gang, gang culture means just family, a clique, your homies. And so that's what I mean by if the jurors are not aware of culture, they could use these words in the literal sense and not understand that they have many different double, triple entendres.
Well, let's look at the legal part of this here, Brian. How common is it to bring lyrics into a case?
It's very common. I've even defended clients who have this situation themselves, and I'm often telling my clients, hey, if you're going to rap on a beat, you got to treat it like you're in an interrogation room, because ultimately these charges could be, these lyrics can be used to incriminate you, to incarcerate you, and even for sentencing enhancement at the end of the day. And I don't think necessarily this is going to create a precedence, because the precedent's already there. I think the general fear that people, or the worry that people should have, is when we give prosecutors an extra tool to prosecute and to limit the liberty of a sect of people, we have to make sure that prosecutors are doing that correctly and not overly broad, because if we give them power to go after one group, who's next on that line? And is it done properly and effectively? I think that's why this case is so important.
And Mike, real quick, you got a background in music. Do you think rappers will start to say, okay, you know what, I may want to think about what I'm going to say on this next track before I release it, or is this empowering them to do more?
I think they're going to think about what they rap about, but DeMarco, that really begins to infringe on their First Amendment rights and their First Amendment right to be creative and as a form, an art form, as expression. Who are we as society to govern and to dictate what is art and what isn't art just because we may not like it? As Brian perfectly illuminated, that there is precedence for lyrics to already be used, but the nature of this case is different because Young Thug is such an influential artist within the rap community as a whole. So in essence, this is the first time that rap lyrics is on trial with such a very popular artist.
All right, ABC contributors Brian Buckmire and Mike Muse. Good to see you guys, and thanks for being on, as always.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.